Hello, hello, it's Kev here. Time for a video. It's been quite a while, I have to say, but what can I say? I've been busy with my podcast. I've got two now, two different podcasts, theEnglishNative.com and my one for OET, speaking, writing articles for LinkedIn, for academic journals, research. It's endless. Too much. Now, what I want to talk about today is something that happened. Well, something that can happen. Is that better? Something that occurred to me several times, but talking with a student last night gave me the inspiration for this video for today. We were talking about what she wants to do in English. She wrote to me. She said, "Oh, Kev, can we have a chat?" So we kind of did. And I was trying to find out what her specific goals were, and she didn't really know. She just said something like, "I want to be C1." Okay, so what we have to do then is first, what does that actually mean? All right, so she's maybe intermediate, upper intermediate, maybe B1, B2, and now she says, "I want to move up to C1." So I said, what does that actually mean? That's what we're going to have a think about. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'll have to be quick. My students are coming in 15 minutes, so I want to get this down. So to be C1 is advanced, essentially. And it's not just about your fluency in terms of speaking. It's about control, flexibility, and confidence. Today, I'm going to show you what that looks like and how I build a study plan to take you there step by step. So, if you look at the infographic here, English Learning Framework. Okay. So, I've been doing a lot of work on curriculum design in the last few weeks. Just got out of the shower there. Instructional design, curriculum design. I did a load of courses for AI. I did the Microsoft AI for educators. I did the Google AI for educators. I did the British Council digital competencies. You can see all the certificates on my profile. LinkedIn, Kevin A. Dean. You'll find it there. And my newsletter with my educational philosophy and other bits and pieces embedded. So if you want to check that out, I'll probably put the links below. So it's about backward design. What does that mean? Well, so we do an initial assessment first, a placement test and needs analysis. We decide what the student learning outcomes, SLO, are. Then once we have those, we design backwards from the end point. What do you want to achieve? And design backwards to how you get there. And then reflective practice. So it's a bit like, so I was rethinking about my Master's of Research in research, and it was, what was it? It was, international, was it Master's of Research? Yeah, in Politics, Language, International Studies. Yeah, so I was writing about identity in the EFL context, which was quite interesting. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. And how we design. I'm currently working on several other new research projects. Anybody, if you've been listening to my podcast on the EnglishNative.com, you might have heard me speak about that, about Turkish IELTS students and Chinese IELTS students and why they get low scores in writing and speaking, etc. But anyway, again, something for another time. So it's built around this idea of, so when you're doing research, you have to have a research question, design an instrument to test the hypothesis, implement it, evaluate, reflect, and re-implement or redesign. It's more or less, there's some different acronyms, ADD, IE, and others, I can't remember now. But essentially, that's what you've got to do. Yeah, so it's an iterative process. So you have your outcome in terms of English here now, and you design a curriculum, and then you have to check the alignment. Is it measuring what it's supposed to measure? Anyway, you can read about this on my newsletter on LinkedIn, because I'm not going to go into it now. So how it works, what we do first, I'll show you now. Okay, right. So firstly, we need the baseline. Now, for most of my students who've taken examinations, that's quite easy. They say, Kev, I took IELTS, I took TOEFL, I got this score, I got that score, I need this score. So the outcome, the student learning outcome or objective is clear. They need to get a 350B pass in OET, they need a 6.5 over 7 in IELTS. They've taken the tests before, we know what their current scores are, they can level, and we can work backwards. 10 minutes, have to be quick. So we can work backwards from there, right? So, but for those who haven't, this is where we start. So, initial assessment, right? I send you this multiple choice, placements test, A, B, C, D, a bit of writing there. And then we do a needs analysis, student information sheet. So it asks questions about your previous learning, your current use, your motivation, what do you use, what do you know. Anyway, you can see it there. So I send you those. And what else do we do? Oh yeah, okay. Then I also send you this. This is a CEFR self-assessment grid. So all you do here, right, it's a series of statements. I can do this, I can understand that, I can read this, I can communicate, etc. So what you do is you read these and think, right, which of these applies to me, which is applicable? Oh, right, I can understand that, okay. I can do that, spoken interaction. Oh, actually, my reading is pretty good, so maybe it's see what you know. So you do that first. Now then, the next thing is, what does this map onto? So, it's a good question. So this is the core inventory of A1, A2, B1, B2, C1. What does it mean? What do you need to do to be able to demonstrate that you are in fact C1? Well, as you can see here, functions. What can you do as a C1 user of English? Well, you can defend a point of view, develop an argument, critique, review constructively, synthesize, evaluate, and gloss information. I mean, most of these here are why most of the English tests require you to write an essay, because that's what these functions are, or, you know, give a debate or a presentation. What grammar do you need to be considered C1? Well, inversions, mixed, conditionals, and of course, all the ones that came before. Vocabulary, what different vocab, idioms, formal, informal, and topics, which is what I incorporate in the classroom. If you're A1, it's like shopping, leisure activities, but to be advanced, this is what you need to be talking about. Books, literature, film, media, etc. So anyway, once we've got all these things, right, we've got the placement test, we've done a spoken interview, I've done like an analysis, you tell me what your aims are, your sort of goals are. We have to start from here, work backwards to where you are. So you might have something such as this, My English Week. This is just a sample. What you might do, incorporating listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward stuff. And it comes back to this assessment, what's the goals, the outcomes, then design it back. Define evidence. So how will we know that what we're teaching, what you're learning, is what you're supposed to be learning to achieve your objectives? What evidence? Can you write an essay? Can you give a debate, a presentation, etc.? Can you talk about particular topics? So we plan the learning, and then the important part, reflective practice. Evaluate. If it's not working, do something else. Evaluate. If it's not working, do something else. Evaluate. If it's not working, adjust instruction. So we're monitoring your progress and adjusting instruction if necessary. So, is there anything else I need to be telling you? Let me have a quick look. Anything else I need to be telling you? Because I've got to get off. Students coming in 5 minutes time. So, okay. So, yeah, I reckon I'll have to make that do for today. So like I say, I use these kind of tools and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I had a script, don't have time to read it. That's essentially it, okay? So if you want to get in touch, you can comment below. You can contact me on italki. You can add me on LinkedIn. Read my stuff. Check out my podcast, thenativeenglish.com. If you're a doctor, check out my OET one. And I hope that gives you some idea about what you can do, how it kind of works, and my particular process in assisting my learners. So, hope you found that interesting, possibly illuminating. Anyway, first video for a long time. It's a bit shit, sorry. But too busy. I've got students every day, italki, I've got my research, I've got my stuff for OET, I'm making audio role plays for doctors. I'm going to be doing that for IELTS soon. So there's a lot of stuff. I've got a learning management system, I've got to uphold that. Anyway, constantly busy, refining, etc. Anyway, got to go. So, hope that helps. Feel free to contact me anytime. I'll see you later.